Milo sat in the shuttle as it moved through the thin clouds toward Earth. The bright blue planet looked calm from above, nothing like the dusty frontier stations where he had spent most of his life. The calm view felt strange because his heart was heavy. He had come home for only one reason. His grandfather Jonas was gone, and today was the day of the funeral. Milo had been away for many years, working as a sheriff on a human colony far from Earth, on that frontier world. He had kept order among farmers, traders, and explorers. Most days he dealt with quiet disputes, supply problems, or small emergencies. The people there respected him, and he had grown used to that life. Out there, he was known simply as Sheriff Milo. His badge carried authority. People listened when he spoke. But he did not want to bring any of that attention home. Not today. He wore simple travel clothes with the badge hidden under his coat. He wanted to stand with his family like anyone else. No title needed. No rank needed. Just Milo, a grandson who had come to say goodbye. When the shuttle reached the landing pad, he stepped out and smelled the air of Earth again. It carried the scent of trees and rain. He looked around the small town where he had grown up. Old buildings still stood where he remembered them. A narrow street led toward the hill where his grandfather once lived. His chest tightened at the memory of Jonas sitting on the porch, carving small wooden shapes and telling stories to anyone who would listen. Milo walked down the road, passing people who did not recognize him. That was expected. He had been gone a long time. A few nodded politely, but most were busy preparing for an important event. Earth was hosting visitors from another world. A small group of aliens had arrived only a month earlier to study human culture. They were peaceful, curious, and very careful with their actions. The town had been chosen as a place where the visitors could observe human ceremonies in a quiet setting. Because of that, the town officials wanted everything organized. They had strict rules for gatherings, movement, and public events. The goal was to avoid confusion or disorder. At the front of this planning group was Karen, a coordinator who believed rules were the best way to keep life smooth. She took her job very seriously. Some said she took it too seriously. She never slowed down. Milo had heard about the alien visitors on the way home, but he did not think they would affect the funeral. Jonas had been a simple man who lived a simple life. He loved nature, tools, and spending time with his family. He would not want a grand or complicated ceremony. He would want peace and respect. Milo hoped the presence of visitors would not disturb that. The funeral was held in a community hall near the center of town. People stood outside, waiting for the doors to open. Many wore dark clothes and gentle expressions. Some spoke quietly about memories of Jonas. Milo moved through the small crowd, trying to stay unnoticed. He planned to take a seat in the back and wait until the ceremony began. Inside the hall, the air was soft and cool. Simple flowers lined the walls. A quiet light filled the room. A small group of aliens stood near the side, watching with interest. They were tall and graceful, with calm blue eyes. Their translator devices rested around their necks. They did not speak unless someone addressed them first. They had come only to learn. Karen moved quickly between groups of people, checking lists and adjusting chairs. She was a firm woman with sharp eyes and a strong sense of order. She wore a coordinator badge and carried a small tablet filled with rules. She believed every detail mattered. Milo stepped into the hall and looked for a seat. He chose a row near the back and sat quietly with his hands folded. He hoped to remain unnoticed until the family gathering after the ceremony. He did not want a spotlight on him. Today was not about him. It was about Jonas. As he sat there, he remembered the last time he had spoken to his grandfather. Jonas had sent him a message from Earth. It was short and kind. He had said he was proud of Milo and hoped to see him again someday. Milo had planned to visit soon, but work on the frontier had kept him too busy. Now that chance was gone, and the sadness settled over him like a cold blanket. Karen noticed Milo as she checked the far rows. She paused and narrowed her eyes. She did not recognize him, and his clothes looked slightly dusty from travel. He had arrived late and quietly. To her, that was unusual. She believed every person attending should have checked in at the entrance, especially with alien visitors present. She had a strict list of approved guests. Anyone not on the list needed to be confirmed before entering the hall. She approached him with quick, firm steps. Milo looked up as Karen stopped in front of him. "Excuse me," Karen said in a sharp but controlled tone. "This event is restricted today. Only registered guests may enter. May I ask who you are and why you are here?" Milo kept his voice calm. "I am here for Jonas. He was my grandfather." Karen raised an eyebrow. "Your name does not appear on the list. Did you check in with staff at the door?" "No," Milo said gently. "I arrived a moment ago and came in quietly. I did not want to disturb anyone." Karen did not seem satisfied. She tapped her tablet and scanned the list again. Her expression tightened. "Your name is not here. If you are not on the list, I cannot allow you to stay. This event must be fully monitored because of the alien observers. We cannot have unregistered individuals moving around." A few people nearby turned their heads. The aliens looked over as well. Their eyes glowed with curiosity. Milo felt the beginning of pressure in the room. He wanted to keep the peace. He did not want a scene at his grandfather's funeral. He spoke with steady patience. "I assure you, I am family. I do not want to disrupt anything. I only want to sit quietly and pay my respects." Karen shook her head. She believed rules existed for a reason, and she would not bend them unless given permission by someone above her. The guest list was approved by family members yesterday. If your name was not submitted, you should speak to an organizer outside. You cannot stay inside the hall without confirmation. Milo understood the system she followed. He understood she believed she was protecting the event. He did not want to argue, but the frustration of the moment mixed with his grief. He felt torn between respect for the rules and the deep need to be present for his grandfather. He stood slowly. "I have been away for years. My name may not have been added. But I came home today only for this. I hope you can give me a moment to explain." Karen stepped back slightly, as if preparing to call someone else. She disliked unplanned situations. She disliked uncertainty. She believed she was preventing disorder, and she wanted to maintain control of the environment. "I must follow protocol," she said. "I cannot accept verbal claims without verification. Please come with me outside so that we can confirm your identity properly." Milo breathed deeply. He did not want to walk out in front of everyone. He felt the eyes of the crowd. He felt the silent attention of the alien visitors. He felt the memory of Jonas hovering in the background, waiting for him to stay strong. He spoke with quiet strength. "I understand your job. I respect your care. But this is my place today. My grandfather is gone. I came a long distance. I ask you to trust me for one moment." Karen hesitated. Her tablet beeped with a reminder from the system. She looked torn between duty and compassion. For her, allowing an unverified person to remain during a monitored event was a serious concern. She feared the consequences of breaking procedure. She feared causing confusion for the alien observers. She feared losing control of the event. She stood firm again. "I am sorry. You must step outside first. I cannot allow exceptions." The tension grew. The room became silent. The people who knew Jonas watched closely. The aliens leaned forward slightly, studying every movement. They did not understand the conflict, but they sensed its importance. Milo lowered his gaze for a moment. His jaw tightened. He was still calm, but the pain in his chest deepened. He had hoped to honor his grandfather quietly. Instead, he was now the center of an unwanted scene. He opened his coat slightly to take a breath. As he moved, a faint glow shimmered from under the fabric. It was his hidden badge. A sheriff badge carried a unique identification field used on frontier worlds. The aliens recognized the signal instantly. Their translator devices picked up the encoded authority mark. One of the aliens stepped forward. His voice was calm and resonant through the translator device. He addressed Karen first. "This person carries a registered human authority badge. He is a sheriff. His identity is confirmed." Karen froze. Her eyes widened. The room went completely still. Milo had not wanted this, but the moment had arrived on its own. The hall felt strangely quiet after the alien announced Milo's identity. People stared with wide eyes, caught between surprise and confusion. The soft glow from the sheriff badge under Milo's coat slowly faded as the alien stepped back. Milo had not meant to reveal anything. He had wanted to remain just another person at the funeral. Now every pair of eyes in the room watched him. Karen stood frozen with her tablet in hand. Her mind raced. She had believed Milo was an unregistered guest. She had believed she was protecting an event under careful supervision. Now she realized she had challenged someone who held recognized authority far greater than her own. The discovery left her shocked. Her cheeks warmed with embarrassment. Her mouth opened, then closed again as she struggled for words. The alien who had spoken nodded at Milo with calm respect. His blue eyes glowed softly. His voice emerged through the translator device with steady clarity. "We detected an identification signal registered to a frontier sheriff. It verifies his rank and his human leadership status. We confirm he is not a threat to this gathering." A ripple moved through the room. People whispered softly. Some nodded. A few eyes widened even more. Many had never met a frontier sheriff before. It was not a common role on Earth. Frontier sheriffs worked far from home, often in remote or difficult environments. They maintained peace on new colonies where rules were still forming. They were respected across human space. To see one here at a small-town funeral was surprising enough. To see one nearly removed from his own family event was even more unexpected. Karen lowered her tablet and took a slow breath. She stepped forward. "I made a mistake. I did not know. I thought I was following the rules for the visitors. I did not mean to cause distress." Her voice trembled slightly. Karen was strict, but not unkind. She did not like being wrong, yet she also valued honesty. Her mistake weighed on her, especially now that she understood the importance of the moment. Milo gave a small nod. He kept his expression calm. He did not want to embarrass her further. He only wanted the event to continue peacefully. "It is all right," he said. "I know you were doing your job. You wanted order. I respect that." Karen seemed relieved by his gentle reply. She stepped slightly aside and gestured toward the seats. "Please take any seat you prefer. I apologize for the misunderstanding." Milo nodded again and sat down. The people around him gave him polite space, unsure if they should speak to him. A few offered respectful nods. Some looked apologetic on Karen's behalf. Others seemed curious about his life on the frontier. Milo appreciated their kindness, but kept his focus steady. He did not want attention. He only wanted to honor Jonas. The aliens, however, were far more curious. They whispered softly among themselves in their native language. Their translator devices picked up some words, but left most unspoken. They had come to observe human rituals, but they now found something even more interesting. They had witnessed a conflict based on misunderstanding, followed by a peaceful resolution. That alone fascinated them. They valued emotional balance and calm interaction. So the way Milo handled the situation impressed them. Two of the visitors stepped closer to the side of the hall, positioning themselves where they could observe Milo without interrupting the ceremony. Their eyes were bright with interest. They had studied human laws and authority structures from a distance. But this was the first time they had seen a frontier sheriff in person. For them, it was a rare opportunity. Karen moved to the front of the hall and continued preparing the final details. She still felt uneasy. She replayed the moment over and over in her mind. She had raised her voice at him. She had insisted he leave. She had assumed the worst. Now she wondered how she could make things right. She also worried that she had given the aliens the wrong impression about human interactions. She did not want them to think humans were always strict or suspicious. She cared about representing humans well. Milo watched everything quietly. He saw Karen's discomfort and felt a slight sympathy. He understood the pressure she carried. The presence of visitors brought expectations. She wanted everything perfect. His arrival had disrupted her plan, and she had reacted sharply. He knew the feeling of needing control. Frontier work often required careful decisions under stress. He had made mistakes too. He understood that doing the right Things sometimes came only after realizing a wrong step. The time for the ceremony approached. Family members took their seats. The hall grew still. A gentle musical tone played as a small group prepared to speak about Jonas. Milo bowed his head. A soft memory came to him. A younger version of himself sat beside Jonas under a tree. Jonas had given him a small wooden carving, shaped like a bird caught in flight. He had said that every person carried their own flight path. Some paths led across mountains. Some led to quiet fields. Some led to faraway stars. Jonas had believed Milo would one day travel far beyond Earth. He had been right. The ceremony began. Family members shared stories. They spoke about Jonas's kindness, strong hands, bright laugh, and steady patience. They spoke about the way he built tools, helped neighbors, and taught children simple lessons about nature. One person described how Jonas rescued a dog during a storm. Another told how he planted trees along the town path. Believing that future generations would appreciate the shade, the aliens listened closely. They were new to the concept of mourning ceremonies. They had heard of death, but did not experience it in the same emotional way. Their species aged slowly and passed peacefully when their life cycle ended. They did not have large family gatherings. They did not speak long stories about the past. They found the human way both strange and beautiful. Milo listened to each story with bittersweet pride. Jonas had been a quiet man, but he had touched many lives. Milo felt the weight of regret for not returning sooner. He wished he had shared one more meal with his grandfather. He wished he had heard one more story. But regrets did not guide life. Jonas had taught him that. What mattered was what a person did next. As the ceremony continued, Karen walked down the aisle to stand near the aliens. She wanted to make sure they understood what was happening. She explained each part in simple terms. The aliens asked gentle questions. They wanted to know why humans shared stories aloud. They wanted to know why people cried. They wanted to know why the room felt heavy and warm at the same time. Karen answered patiently. Her voice was respectful and soft. She no longer acted sharp or rigid. The earlier moment had humbled her, and now she spoke with more empathy. The aliens noticed the change. They studied her carefully, trying to understand the shift in her behavior. During a quiet pause in the ceremony, one visitor whispered to another, "Humans show many emotions in one place. They show sorrow and respect. They show conflict and resolution. Their minds move with strong feeling. Their actions change quickly." The other visitor nodded. It is a rich culture. Their bonds run deep. Even when they disagree, they seek peace. Karen overheard this. A small smile appeared on her face. She felt relieved that the aliens did not view the earlier confrontation as a sign of hostility. Instead, they saw it as part of human life. She liked that interpretation. When it was time for people to view a small memorial display, they stood and moved slowly around the hall. The display included Jonas's photographs, a few of his tools, a wooden bird he once carved, and a small folded flag from his years working as a forest warden. People touched the items gently and shared quiet words. Milo approached the display last. He looked at each photo. His chest tightened again. He touched the wooden bird with careful fingers. A wave of memory washed through him. He remembered Jonas handing him that carving on a bright day long ago. He remembered the pride in his grandfather's eyes. The alien visitors watched him with deep interest. They saw how he touched the object. They saw how emotion moved across his face. They saw how one memory connected a man to his past. It taught them something new about humanity. It taught them how humans carried meaning not just in words, but in objects, memories, and silent gestures. As Milo stepped back from the display, Karen approached him slowly. She looked unsure, yet determined. "May I speak to you?" she asked. Milo nodded. Karen took a breath. "I want to apologize again. I spoke too quickly. I judged without understanding. You handled the moment with patience. I thank you for that. I did not mean to cause you stress at a time that is already difficult." Milo looked at her kindly. "You are doing what you think is right. I respect that." Today is a heavy day for me, but I do not hold anger. We all make choices under pressure. What matters is what we learn from them. His voice was calm and steady. Karen felt a sense of relief wash over her. Thank you, she said quietly. I am glad you are here. Your presence matters to your family. And it helps the visitors learn about us too. Milo glanced at the aliens nearby. They watched with thoughtful expressions. They're curious, he said. Very curious, Karen replied. They noticed the misunderstanding, Milo added. But they also saw how it settled. Karen nodded. I hope they understand that humans try to fix what goes wrong. We may stumble, but we try again. Milo gave a small smile. They understand more than you think, Karen straightened slightly, feeling more confident. Would you like a place closer to the front? She asked. There is space if you prefer. Milo shook his head gently. The ceremony had ended, but the soft echo of the speeches still hung in the hall. People moved toward the exit with slow steps. Some wiped their eyes. Some hugged family members. Others spoke in quiet tones about Jonas and the life he had lived. The hall smelled of flowers and warm memories. Outside, the sun rested behind thin clouds, casting gentle light over the town square. Milo remained inside a moment longer. He stood near the back row, hands in his pockets, watching the hall gradually empty. A few family members waved at him to join them outside. He returned the gesture, but stayed in place for a short time. He wanted to breathe in the calm after the long tension of the morning. He wanted to enjoy one quiet moment in the space where people had shared stories of his grandfather. The alien visitors, however, did not leave. They stayed near the side of the hall, still studying the human reactions. Their translator devices blinked softly. Their tall figures stood with quiet grace. They seemed ready to speak with the humans. But they waited until the room was less crowded. Karen approached them and offered a polite nod. She felt more confident now that the ceremony had gone smoothly. She asked if they wished to step outside, but one of the visitors raised a gentle hand. We wish to speak with the sheriff, the alien said in a calm voice. Karen blinked. She had expected questions about the ceremony, but this request surprised her. She turned her head toward Milo. He was still standing alone, looking thoughtful. The alien followed her gaze. Milo noticed the movement and walked toward them. His steps were steady. He did not rush. The aliens watched him with bright interest. Their eyes had a faint glow that flickered like calm lanterns. They seemed respectful, not intrusive. When Milo reached them, the tallest visitor bowed slightly. We are grateful you allowed us to observe today. Your calm actions helped us understand a part of your culture. We hope you will answer a few questions. Milo nodded. He kept his voice relaxed. I will help if I can. The group moved to a quiet corner of the hall. Karen joined them because she was the official coordinator. She wanted to ensure all communication remained clear and respectful. She stood beside Milo with a more humble posture than before. She still felt the weight of her earlier mistake and wanted to support the moment correctly. The alien who had spoken earlier began. You recognized your authority badge? During the ceremony, when it became visible, we are familiar with the signal it emits. Your badge carries data that identifies you as a frontier sheriff. This is a role we have studied with interest. Humans have many leadership forms, and frontier sheriffs hold particular value in new settlements. We wish to learn more about your responsibilities and the way humans maintain order during difficult conditions. Milo listened carefully. He had answered questions about his work before, but never to alien visitors. He wanted to speak simply, without grand words. My job on the frontier is to keep peace among the people who build new homes. The frontier is far from Earth, so there are fewer resources and fewer rules. People depend on each other. Sometimes there are disagreements. Sometimes there are dangers from the environment. My role is to solve problems fairly and help people stay safe. The aliens nodded with visible interest. One visitor asked, do people always respect your authority? Milo shook his head. Not always. Some people think they know best. Others feel fear when things go wrong. Sometimes I need to speak firmly. Sometimes I need to listen quietly. It depends on the moment. A sheriff needs to understand people and stay calm. If I lose control, others lose trust. Karen listened closely. She glanced at Milo with new respect. Earlier in the day, she had doubted him. Now she understood him better. She realized he had carried that calm strength even when she confronted him. Another visitor asked, "How do you decide what is right during uncertainty?" Milo answered, "I follow simple rules. Protect life. Protect fairness. Protect peace. If a situation is unclear, I choose what prevents harm and supports stability. I do not act for pride or anger. I act for the community." The aliens recorded his words. Their translator devices flickered again. They seemed deeply impressed, Karen added softly. "This is why your moment earlier was important for them to see. You handled misunderstanding without anger. You showed how humans try to stay calm even under pressure." Milo nodded. "It was not a perfect moment, but I wanted to keep peace. This day was too important for conflict." One visitor stepped forward. His blue eyes glowed with gentle intensity. "We wish to understand something else. During the ceremony, you held a small object shaped like a bird. Your face changed as you touched it. What made that object important?" Milo felt a warm ache in his chest. He placed his hand on the wooden carving inside his pocket. "My grandfather made that bird when I was young. He gave it to me as a reminder that life moves in many directions. He believed every person has a path. Some paths lead far from home. Some lead back to where you began. That carving reminds me of him. It reminds me of his guidance. It carries memory." The aliens whispered among themselves for a moment. They seemed moved by the explanation. "We do not use physical objects for memory in our culture. We store memories in shared recordings. But we see that humans connect memory to touch and sight. It brings strong feeling. We find this fascinating." Milo nodded silently. The tallest visitor then spoke again. "We would like to request something. We wish to include a human explanation of authority and calm leadership in our study of your species. We believe your words and your actions today offer clear understanding. Would you share a message about how humans handle conflict and how they show respect for life?" The request surprised him. He had not expected to speak for humanity. He was only a grandson who came home for a funeral. But he also understood the importance of such moments. Aliens came to Earth to learn. Humans wanted peaceful relations. Honest understanding helped build trust. He looked at Karen. She gave a small, encouraging nod. Milo took a steady breath. "I can share a few thoughts. I cannot speak for all humans, but I can speak for my own life." The aliens nodded. "You would be honored to hear." Milo began slowly. "Humans make mistakes. We react with strong emotion. Sometimes we misunderstand others. Sometimes we act too fast. But most humans try to do better when they see they were wrong. We believe in learning. We believe in kindness. Even during conflict, we hope for peaceful solutions." He paused to gather his thoughts. "Life is not perfect, but humans try to protect each other. We form families. We build communities. We support values that keep us together. When we face hard situations, we rely on hope and cooperation. We may stumble, but we stand again with stronger spirit." The aliens watched him with deep focus. Milo continued. "A sheriff on the frontier sees the best and the hardest parts of human nature. I have seen anger. I have seen fear. I have seen bravery. I have seen compassion. Humans are complex, but we grow through challenge. What matters is that we keep trying to be better. That is our strength." Karen felt a warm feeling rise in her chest. Milo's words were simple, but powerful. They carried dignity without pride. She realized he had represented humanity better than she ever could have prepared. The visitors bowed with respectful gratitude. "This message is valuable. It shows the core of your culture. It will help our people understand your world more clearly." "We thank you," Milo nodded. The aliens stepped back, forming a small circle among themselves as they recorded their observations. Their translator devices hummed quietly. They seemed satisfied with the exchange. Karen turned to Milo. I did not know you could speak like that. Your words were strong and thoughtful. You helped them understand us in a positive way. Milo gave a modest shrug. Only spoke what I believe. My grandfather taught me many lessons. They stay with me. Karen looked at him with new appreciation. You handled everything with grace. I am sorry again for the trouble earlier. Your reaction taught me something about patience. Milo smiled softly. Understanding grows when people talk with honesty. That is true for humans and aliens. Aline nodded. She felt lighter. The family members outside called for Milo again. It was time for the gathering at his grandfather's house. Food had been set out. People wanted to share memories together. Milo started toward the door. Before he left, the tallest alien approached him once more. There is one final matter. We would like to attend the family gathering, if permitted. We wish to observe how humans support each other after a ceremony of loss. We will remain respectful and silent. Milo glanced at Karen. Karen answered gently. We can allow it if the family agrees. They value openness. I will talk to them now. The alien bowed with gratitude. Milo stepped outside and followed his family toward Jonas's home. The air smelled of pine trees and fresh soil. People walked in groups, speaking softly. Children ran ahead with curious energy. The house on the hill waited with warm lights and open doors. The walk to Jonas's house felt gentle and quiet. The town path curved between tall trees and small wooden fences. Sunlight filtered through the branches, creating soft patches of brightness along the ground. Milo walked slowly with his hands in his pockets. His family members moved in small groups ahead of him, speaking in low voices. Their steps carried the rhythm of shared sadness mixed with warmth. Jonas's house stood on the hill at the edge of town. It was a simple home made of stone and wood, just as Milo remembered it from childhood. The porch roof still leaned slightly to the right, and the old rocking chair remained in its usual place. Nothing had changed. Yet everything felt different. As Milo approached the porch, he paused. He imagined Jonas sitting there with a small knife and a block of wood, carving something new. Milo could almost hear his grandfather's steady breath and calm voice. The memory made his eyes sting, but he drew a slow breath and stepped inside. Family members filled the living room. Some sat on the couch, others stood by the windows. They held cups of warm tea or plates of simple food. They spoke about Jonas's adventures, his habits, and his kindness. The room carried the scent of pine wood and baked bread. Soft music played in the background. Milo walked through the room, receiving nods and gentle pats on the shoulder. Many family members had not seen him in years. Their expressions carried both surprise and affection. Aunt Mira hugged him tightly. Came home. Jonas would be proud. He always believed you would return one day. Mila returned the hug. I wish it had been sooner. Mira shook her head. Life moves in its own way. What matters is that you are here now. Milo nodded with quiet gratitude. Outside, Karen guided the alien visitors toward the house. She explained that the gathering was informal and that they should observe quietly unless spoken to. The aliens agreed. They carried themselves with calm respect. Stepping lightly as they approached the porch when they entered the home, the conversations paused for a moment. People looked toward them with gentle curiosity. The visitors bowed their heads in greeting, causing some children to gasp softly. The aliens were unlike anything they had seen before. They had tall, graceful bodies and glowing eyes. Yet their presence felt peaceful, rather than frightening. Karen introduced them to the family. These visitors wish to observe how humans support each other after a ceremony. They will be respectful. They come with learning in mind. Milo's family nodded politely. They believed Jonas would have welcomed peaceful guests from any world. The visitors stepped to a quiet corner of the room, watching the humans interact. They listened to the soft laughter, the tearful stories, and the gentle comfort that people offered each other. Everything fascinated them. They had studied human communication, but this moment felt deeper than any textbook. One visitor leaned toward Karen. Humans share sorrow with great closeness. They do not hide emotion. They show strong connection. This is how we take care of each other during loss. We speak together. We remember together. It helps us heal, another visitor asked. Why do humans speak of memories so often during these gatherings? Karen answered. Memories keep people alive in our hearts. When a family member passes away, we keep their spirit strong by sharing their stories. It brings comfort. The aliens recorded everything with thoughtful focus. Meanwhile, Milo walked into a small room near the back of the house. It was Jonas's workshop. The air smelled of wood and oil. Tools hung neatly on the walls. A half-finished carving rested on the table. Milo felt the memory of his grandfather's hand shaping the wood. He touched the table lightly. A young cousin named Tom entered. Grandfather spent hours in here. He made toys for us. He made tools for the neighbors. He even made a whistle for the dog. Milo smiled softly. He loved creating things. Tom nodded. He liked simple work. He said simple things last the longest. Milo looked around the room. Everything Jonas had built remained sturdy and well kept. The lesson held truth. One of the alien visitors appeared in the doorway. He bowed slightly. May we observe this room? We sense it carries personal meaning. Milo stepped aside. You may. This was my grandfather's workshop. The visitors entered with careful steps. Their eyes moved slowly across the tools, carvings, and wooden shelves. They studied each item with great care. To them, this room revealed a part of human life that books could not teach. One visitor touched a wooden handle gently. This object carries marks of use. It shows effort and time. It shows human dedication.
Milo nodded.
My grandfather believed in working with his hands. He believed work kept the mind strong and the heart steady. Another visitor asked, Do many humans create things in this way? Some do, Milo replied. Some build with tools. Some build with words. Some build with ideas. Many humans create because it brings purpose. The aliens absorbed this explanation with interest. After they finished exploring the workshop, Milo returned to the living room. People gathered around a large portrait of Jonas. They spoke about his youth and the small adventures he had taken across the mountains. Children listened with shining eyes. A little girl named Rena tugged at Milo's sleeve. Can you tell us a story about grandfather when you were young? Milo knelt beside her. He once took me fishing near the old river. I fell in the water because I tried to grab a fish with my hands. He pulled me out, laughing the whole time. He said even a mistake can turn into a good memory if you learn something from it. Rena giggled at the story. Some adults smiled too. The alien visitors watched this exchange with silent fascination. They whispered among themselves. They teach lessons through small stories. Their wisdom flows in simple words, Karen explained softly. Humans value stories because they stay in the mind. They shape who we become. One visitor replied, We understand more now. Humans carry the past into the present with strong feeling. As the evening continued, the family moved outside to the backyard. The sky shifted into a soft orange shade. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves. The backyard held a small wooden bench and a patch of flowers Jonas had planted long ago. Milo walked toward the flowers and knelt beside them. The aliens followed at a respectful distance. They whispered about the garden's meaning. They sensed it was important. Milo touched the soil near the flowers. My grandfather planted these to bring beauty to the world. He said, every small act of care becomes a gift to the future. Karen stood beside him. He had a good heart. Milo nodded. He taught me more than he realized. The tallest visitor stepped forward slowly. You speak of your grandfather with deep respect. You show his values through your actions. You carry his lessons in your voice. We believe this is important. Milo looked at them with curiosity. What do you mean? The alien answered. Our people learn by studying examples. We seek moments where a species shows its true nature. Today, we saw a moment of conflict, followed by calm understanding. We saw family support. We saw memory honored. We saw human strength shown through calm guidance rather than force. Milo felt a quiet weight settle on his shoulders. He did not want praise, but he understood the visitors spoke with sincerity. The alien continued. Your response during the misunderstanding showed a part of your species that we value. You did not respond with anger. You chose patience. You chose respect. You chose peace. This is something we will share with our world. We believe it represents a strong part of your culture. Karen stood still, absorbing the words. Another visitor added, "Your grandfather's memory shaped your actions. You honored him not only through words, but through your dignity. This is a powerful example for us." Milo lowered his gaze. He felt humbled, not proud. "I only acted as I thought correct. Today was not a day for conflict. It was a day for family." The visitors nodded. "What you call simple, we see as important. We have learned that human strength does not always appear in battle or loud action. Sometimes it appears in quiet resistance to anger. Sometimes it appears in gentle leadership." Karen spoke softly. "They see the best of us today because of you." Milo shook his head. "They see the best of us because of everyone here. My family, you, this community. We all share these values." Aliens seemed deeply moved. The tallest visitor then said, "We wish to honor your grandfather in our own way. Our culture does not follow your same customs, but we show respect by sharing a message of unity. If you allow, we would like to speak one message to the group." Milo nodded. He would appreciate respect from any world. Karan gathered everyone near the garden. The visitors stood before the family. Their translator devices glowed softly. The tallest visitor spoke. "We come from far away. We do not know your world as you do. Today, we watched your family honor a life with love and memory. We learned that humans feel deeply, but they also rise with strength. We learned that humans show patience even under tension. We saw harmony restored through understanding. We see beauty in your way of supporting each other. We honor Jonas, and we honor the unity he passed on." The family listened with full attention. Some smiled. Some wiped tears. Milo felt the message settle warmly in his chest. The aliens bowed. The entire family bowed in return. For a moment, the backyard felt like the center of two worlds. Human emotion and alien curiosity stood side by side in peaceful respect. Karen whispered to Milo, "This became more than a funeral. This became a moment that will be remembered." The evening settled across the town like a soft blanket. The air carried a calm silence that made every breath feel lighter. The funeral had ended hours ago, yet no one wanted to leave Jonas's home. The family stayed in small groups, talking quietly near the garden, the porch, and the old wooden fence. Lanterns glowed with warm yellow light. Giving the backyard a peaceful glow, Milo stood near the flower patch where his grandfather had planted his favorite plants. He watched the petals move gently with the breeze. The alien visitors remained a short distance away, speaking in low tones about the customs they had observed. Their glowing eyes reflected the lantern light, giving them a curious beauty. Karen walked toward Milo with a cup of warm tea. She handed it to him with a calm smile. "You have been standing here for a long time? You should drink something warm." Milo accepted the tea and nodded in thanks. "I was thinking about everything that happened today. It feels like a lot. Sadness, confusion, learning, unity. It is strange how one day can hold so much." Karen folded her arms. "It was a heavy day, but it was also meaningful. Your grandfather would be proud of how you carried yourself. He would be proud of how you chose respect and calm instead of frustration." Milo looked at the flowers and took a slow breath. "I hope so." A soft hum came from behind them. The tallest visitor approached slowly, carrying a small device shaped like a round stone. It glowed with gentle blue light. "May we speak with you again?" "Milo, we wish to offer one final gesture before we return to our vessel." Milo nodded. "You may speak." The visitor held up the glowing device. "In our culture, when we witness a moment that teaches us something important, we record it in a special vessel of memory. This device will store our experience of today. It will tell our people about your family, your values, and your way of honoring life." Milo raised an eyebrow. "You want to record the funeral?"
Oh.
The visitor answered. "We want to record what we learned from your actions. We want to share how humans use compassion in moments of sorrow. We want to show that your species can guide conflict into peace. This is important for us." Milo felt a quiet pride grow in his chest, not for himself, but for his family and his world. "You may record it." "It is an honor." Karen stepped forward. "What will your people do with the recording?" Visitor replied. "We will study it and share it as a guide. It will help others understand that humans are not only known for bravery or strength, they are also known for unity, forgiveness, and patience. This day will stand as an example." Karen looked at Milo with an expression that carried both wonder and respect. "This is bigger than our small town. Jonas's memory might reach another world." Milo's breath caught in his chest. "My grandfather never traveled far from this valley. Now, his values will reach the stars." The visitor extended the glowing device toward Milo. "Hold this. It will finalize the recording. The device reacts to calm emotion, so your touch will complete the memory." Milo placed his hand on the smooth surface. The device warmed under his touch. A soft light spread across the surface like a gentle wave. The moment felt peaceful, almost sacred. The device finished its hum and returned to a steady glow. The visitor bowed. "It is done. Thank you for allowing this." Milo nodded, humbled. "Thank you for showing respect." The visitor turned to Karen. "We must speak with the town elders soon. Your customs interest us greatly. But for now, we must return to our vessel." Karen guided them toward the gate. Before they stepped through, one visitor paused and looked back at Milo. "You carry your grandfather's spirit. His kindness shaped your actions. This is rare and precious. We thank you for sharing it with us." Then the visitors walked down the path and disappeared into the night. Their steps were soft, and their presence left a small warmth in the air. Karen returned to Milo's side. "You changed their view of humans, you know." Milo shook his head. "It was not only me. It was everyone. It was the way our family supported each other, the way our community stayed calm, the way you explained our customs. It was a group effort." Karen smiled gently. "Even so, they focused on your response because you were at the center of the misunderstanding. Your calm decision shaped the rest of the day." Milo felt a quiet weight, but it did not feel heavy. Instead, it felt steady and meaningful. Inside the house, family members began packing away dishes and collecting blankets. The children played quietly near the porch, chasing each other between the bushes. Their laughter added a gentle joy to the evening. Aunt Mira approached Milo and placed a warm hand on his arm. "Your grandfather would be proud of you." "Milo, you honored him today with dignity." Milo nodded. "I learned everything from him. He always said that the true test of character is how you act when the day is hard." I tried to remember that. Myra's eyes softened. "You did more than remember. You lived his lesson." She gave him a gentle pat and walked away to help others clean up. Milo stepped onto the porch and sat in the old rocking chair. The wood creaked softly under his weight, just as it had when Jonas sat there. Milo let the chair move back and forth as he watched the lantern light dance across the yard. Footsteps approached. It was Tom, the young cousin who had visited the workshop earlier. "Can I sit here for a moment?" Milo nodded. Tom sat on the porch steps. "Some kids at school say humans are always loud and always fighting. They say people from other worlds think we are trouble. But today the visitors saw something different." "Do you think they will tell others?" Milo leaned back in the chair. "I think they will. They saw people supporting each other. They saw people fixing a misunderstanding with calm words. They saw that humans can choose peace even when things feel tense. That is a message worth sharing." Tom looked at the lanterns glowing in the yard. "I think Jonas would like that. He always said we should try to be better each day." Milo smiled. "Yes, he did." Tom stood up. "One day, I want to show the visitors that kids in this town learn good lessons too." Milo nodded. "You already show it, Tom? You listened? You asked questions. You tried to understand. That is all part of learning." Tom beamed with pride before running off to join the other children. The evening grew darker, but the lanterns kept the backyard bright. The family gathered near the garden for one final moment together. Karen walked to the center and asked everyone to join hands. The family formed a circle around the flower patch. Karen spoke in a clear and calm voice. Jonas taught us that unity is a strength. Today, his lesson reached much farther than he ever imagined. We stand here not only as a family, but as an example of what humans can be. Let us honor his memory by continuing to live with kindness and patience. The family bowed their heads for a moment of quiet reflection. A soft breeze passed through the group, making the lantern flame sway. After a few minutes, the circle opened. People began saying their goodbyes and heading home. Some hugged Milo before leaving. Others placed small flowers near the garden. Each gesture felt like a quiet promise to carry Jonas's values forward. Karen returned to Milo once more. I will take the visitors back to their landing zone tomorrow morning. They said they want to thank the town elders before they leave. Milo nodded. Double quotes. Good. I think they will feel welcome. Karen gave a soft smile. This was not an easy day, but it became something beautiful. I am glad I was here to see it. Milo looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the sky. I am glad too. Karen walked toward her vehicle, giving Milo a small wave before leaving the yard. Now alone, Milo stood in the quiet backyard. He walked slowly to the flower patch and knelt beside it. The petals seemed to glow in the lantern light. He placed his hand gently on the soil. Thank you for everything you taught me, grandfather. Your lessons traveled farther than any of us expected. I will carry them forward. I promise. The wind shifted, brushing gently against him. It felt like a soft nod from the past. Milo rose to his feet and stepped back onto the porch. He looked at the rocking chair, the wooden bench, the old house, and the garden. Everything around him felt full of life, even in a moment of loss. He knew this day would remain in his memory forever, not because of the tension that began it, but because of the unity and understanding that ended it. He knew the alien visitors would carry this day across the stars. They would share the message that humans could be calm, patient, and kind even in moments of sadness. They would tell their world that humans were guided by strong hearts, not only strong hands. This was the true HFY moment. A moment where human values reached beyond Earth and into the sky. Milo stepped off the porch and walked down the quiet path toward home. The lanterns behind him glowed like small stars. The sky above stretched wide and peaceful.